that was an extremely impressive performance by Brian Harman. It was also a complete and total dud of a major championship. That's not a knock on Brian Harman. That's just acknowledging the facts.
Foreplay, a Barstool Sports podcast presented by our great friends at Chevy. Go to chevy.com/electric to check out a bunch of their favorites, EVs for everyone everywhere. We love Chevrolet. All right, British Open recap. A lot to actually get to, despite the fact that it wasn't the most, speaking of electric finish of all time. Brian Harman wins the British Open. He hasn't won since 2017. He's 114th in driving distance. He's not the most even charismatic in the interviews. He refused to give up his putting secret. Last night, his family's just in Rochester. Talk about his wife went on like a 6-mile walk this morning instead of really watching him for the first half of the day. Made everything. He had all the bounce back stats. I think four birdies after 6 of the bogeys that he made. So just insanely resilient. Never really hit it offline. He only hit it in 2 bunkers the entire week, which we saw. Bunkers are basically a 1-stroke penalty out there. So just wildly impressive for Brian Harman in those conditions. My biggest takeaway from that is that this really proves that Tiger Woods could win another major. Like, if Brian Harman can win a major championship, Tiger Woods can win a major. That's kind of was my takeaway on the back nine. We talk all the time. These guys are too good now. They hit it too far. There's no way Tiger could keep up. If Brian Harman can win a major championship, Tiger Woods can win a major championship. That's my biggest takeaway.
Tiger Woods' leg would have fallen off in that rain. There's no chance he would have finished
not the new one.
Today.
He's got surgery. We haven't seen it post-surgery yet, so not the new one. But
I think there's 2 things can be true, right? Like, that was an extremely impressive performance by Brian Harman. It was also a complete and total dud of a major championship. That's not a knock on Brian Harman. That's just acknowledging the facts. We came in with all these storylines, right? Scotty's playing at a historic level. Rory's won last week. He comes back to the place where he's won the Open before. You've got Tommy Fleetwood after 2 rounds. He's right up there at home. And I think the closest it got was 2 shots on Saturday morning. I think the closest it got today was 3. So for Harman to sleep on the lead 2 nights in a row and come out and play it like he did is extremely impressive. It was also, there was no juice at all. Just no juice. And again, we've talked about this with Wyndham Clark. That's every golfer's dream. But I can't remember a major this boring to watch since, nothing really comes to mind. He's probably the most unlikely in terms of like pre-tournament odds major winner since Phil, but Phil was super electric because it's Phil Mickelson. I mean, I'm maybe like Oosthuizen when he won by 7. I mean, to have a guy who isn't one of the best players in the world, but also not a complete nobody, right? Like, Brian Harman's won twice on tour. He's 30th in the world. He's probably made $25 million. So it's not like this crazy out of nowhere winner. It's just one of these guys you'd call kind of a rank and file or better than average PGA Tour player dominating for the weekend. That is NBC's worst nightmare.
I mean, you said it's no knock on Brian Harman. It's absolutely a knock on Brian Harman. Like, there's a reason why he's Brian Harman and not Rory McIlroy. I mean, people are allowed to not be perfect and the most likable and the most charismatic, and he just falls into the category of just a boring golfer. We have these people on tour that are just boring golfers. He hits his shot, he gets under his umbrella, he bites off his glove, and then he just walks the fairway and he just does it again. There's nothing exciting about it. He just pinpoints his location and he hits the middle of the green and he makes putts from all over the place with his massive putter. And sure, there's all the jokes about his height. I've obviously been one of the people that have been talking about it, but that just all adds to it. You're like, Brian Harman's just like a guy. You look at him and you're like, who the hell is this guy? How is it happening? And unfortunately for him, that side of the storyline doesn't even make it exciting. For some people, it's like, look at this like little guy going up against all the giants. And the announcers this week really were, I don't know if it was just in the back of their head and they were just doing it by accident, but some of the wording they were using against Brian Harman was fucking flat out mean. I mean, on the 17th hole, he's like, he had to fight off all of these giants like Victor Hovland and John. I mean, you're talking about guys that are like 5'10", 5'11". It was insane. But for some reason, Brian Harman just doesn't carry that like story with him. Like, you'd think it would have been that like, dude, turn on NBC. This like random little guy is about to win the Open in the rain, like in fucking Liverpool. This is the craziest story ever. But for some reason, like what you were saying, Dan, like it's just like, yeah, he's just like been around and he's just like a boring PGA Tour golfer. It's just kind of like, I don't know. There's no story attached to him. There's nothing that I can grab onto. He's a lefty, which I love. shout out to the lefties. You know, a lefty winning a major is fucking
only
awesome.
the fourth?
Yes.
Is that only the fourth of all time?
Fourth lefty of all time.
Mike Weir,
is that
Phil
correct?
Mickelson, Bubba Watson, and then
That's
Brian
it?
Harman.
That's pretty
Think
awesome
so.
if you ask
Wait,
me.
wait.
Yeah.
So Mike Weir was the first lefty to ever win a major in 2003.
I believe he was
people-
the first
they
of all
weren't
time.
that. They
Were
weren't
people
that
just not
popular.
lefties? Were they,
No,
like,
they're still like
are there
not
more
lefties. You
lefties
go to
now?
TaylorMade Shoots, and it's hard for Frankie to get lefty clubs.
Yeah,
like,
and
it's just
and
it's tough.
I'll always get the explanation like SEO big dude. Like if you saw the percentages of lefties that buy clubs, it's a number you wouldn't even believe is true. Like it might be like 6%. I don't know what the number. It might be
Frankie's
like 6%.
sneaky a
of golf.
righty bowler. I was surprised to see a righty bowler.
I'm right-handed in a lot of things. I think
Yeah.
Brian Harman might be also. The way he puts the ball down was with his right hand, and I was thinking that might be his dominant hand.
Some of the things that Paul Azinger said were disrespectful to Brian Harman. He said he's the kind of guy who just wants to splash around in the puddles. What does that mean? So he's just a child? He just likes to
The
jump
way
in
he wears
puddles?
his hat, it's got a little bit of like an angle to it, almost like you're watching The Sandlot. Like he's just like in the Sandlot crew. Brian Harman, listen, aside from all the jokes that you can make, and obviously I am like the most self-deprecating person of all time, so I guess I can feel that I can make jokes about other people because I make them about myself. But listen, you can't take anything away from this guy and how fucking nails he was. He dominated the best golfers in the world on a golf course that was giving people, I mean, guys were making 10s on the 18th hole. Fucking
Yep.
Tommy Fleetwood made us fucking triple bogey on 17. It's just like
horrific bad beat in the betting world there, by the way. Had Tommy top 10. He makes a triple on 17 to finish T10 with like 4 other people. So it'll be a dead heat thing where we'll basically win no money now. So just a horrific bad beat there. Is 2-1 for him to finish top 10.
And just,
top 10 all fucking week.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So it's amazing in its own right. It's just not exciting. That's really the takeaway from me. And anyone that tries to fight on the other side of that's just lying. You're just being like a Twitter warrior that wants to like stand up for every single person in the world and act like everything's the biggest thing of all time. It was just a boring open. That's
always
okay.
So shocking to me when people's response to us rooting for the leaderboard to simply get tighter is that we're like anti-American because Brian Harman was over there representing America in England in this tough weather against a bunch of Europeans. It's like, no, dude, I'm not even rooting against Brian Harman. It's just rooting for excitement. Even if you told me this morning, Brian Harman is guaranteed to win, but it will come down to a putt on 18. I would have taken that. It's like you want when he's standing on that 17th hole where Matty Fitzpatrick and Tommy Fleetwood, God fucking damn it, with a top 10 on the line, make triple bogey. If that was looming, that there was a chance, this is a big moment where you lean up to the edge, on the edge of your fucking seat, couch, whatever, and you get excited for a shot because something could happen here and you just get robbed of that. And I honestly think the golf gods have been making us pay since the 2019 Masters for that. That was like the trade-off that we made. We have not had a killer, insanely dramatic finish to a major. Maybe the PGA
Fitz at Brookline.
Fitz at Brookline was pretty sweet for sure, but even then he kind of like had the lead, I guess, the last 6 or 7 holes, and he did hit the shot on 18 out of that bunker, and you came down to the Zalatoris putt. So you've had a couple for sure that were like it came down to a putt, but for the most part, we talked about it at the Masters. Like we haven't had a really dramatic finish at the Masters. Like Scotty Scheffler was able to like 4-putt the green last year. Jon Rahm came down and was able to basically not even reach the fairway on the 72nd hole, and it didn't even really matter. So we've just had a lot of kind of duds at the end, and it's frustrating because it's close. Like we were close this time. If Brian Harman was just 4 or 5 shots worse, this would have been an insane back nine. You had Rory, you had Rahm, you had all these guys. Sepp Straka made a run. Jason Day all of a sudden is back and made a run. You had Max Homa got his first top 10 finish ever in a major. So it's like you had a bunch of names right there. You would have had 12 guys between 7 under and 4 under, with 5 of them in the top 10 in the world coming down the stretch at this iconic place that's, has Tiger and Rory have won there. And instead, you just had it ripped away from you. So yes, that combined with the fact that Hoylake is probably the flattest course that they play, so it's not aesthetically pleasing on TV. The holes in general kind of blend together with the exception of a few of them where they talk about the internal OB. They've got the 17th hole, which they had to harp on a lot because, again, the holes, they don't really stick out. It's all about the fairway pop bunkers, which all look pretty much the same, but they're incredibly punishing. So like all that combined with Brian Harman, it just, for the last major of the year, when you're looking for all this excitement, you're looking, is Rory going to break through? Is Tommy going to be the hometown hero? Instead, none of it just happened. This guy that honestly, they talk about how this changes, like this will change his life. I don't think this will change Brian Harman's life. I think like tomorrow morning, that fucking guy's going to wake up. He's going to hit a golf shot. He's going to take his glove off with his teeth. He's going to put it under his umbrella. He's going to go back home and like
he's going to go kill some animals. Yeah.
Kill shit and like hang out with his buddies and have beers, which is great. That's cool for him. He seems like a fucking super nice guy. But if you're looking for drama and showman, right? Like Conor McGregor's Conor McGregor because he's a fucking showman. He gets it. He like drums it all up and there's an entertainment value to that he understands and he works to deliver towards. We talked about this with Wyndham Clark when Wyndham Clark won. We talked about this about Patrick Cantlay whenever he wins of like, there are guys that are intentionally don't give a flying fuck. They just want to play the best golf that they can. And that equals boring golf and that gets wins and money. And that's great for them and trophies. And then they go hunt and kill shit and do whatever they do back home. That's Brian Harman to a T. And that's not exciting for us. For him, it's fucking great. Again, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure we'll get him on the podcast and talk about this. And we'll all be like, oh, I can't believe we're rooting against Brian Harman. He's such a nice guy. But at the end of the day, it's like, dude, give me fucking TV. Give me entertainment. Give me like the golf world, the sports world has to buzz about what's going on in the British Open. And instead, it's like, dude, if you're an average sports fan, I'm sure you turned on some baseball game or something a couple hours into this because what the fuck would you be watching for? And that just overall, it kind of stinks from an entertainment value. Chevrolet is as trusted a brand as you've ever heard of. Combine that with innovation and scale, and you've really got just a delightful thing. Chevrolet has been trusted with transportation needs for the last 100 years. Imagine being in business for 100 years.
Generations of leaders.
The daily grind of business is so immense, especially at the level that Chevrolet is at. I can't imagine surviving all of that through 100 years. I mean, the Great Depression and wars and just like recessions, and they're there, man. They are there. Chevrolet is still atop.
They've always been there for you before. Who better to take you into the next phase, which is electric vehicles? Chevy has been in the EV game for a while now, a decade, selling hybrids and all electrics for 10 years. So now take the bow tie, take all the history, take the fact, like Frankie said, making it through world wars, making it through depressions, making it through recessions, scares, all kinds of stuff, still being here, still doing it, not just doing it, but doing it at the forefront with electric vehicles. We've talked about the all-electric Silverado. I saw one the other day driving down the street. It was like a white one I saw. Like I was driving down the street. It was at the dealership. Looked insane, just popping, absolutely popping. That mix of class, of history, of tradition, of being trusted, combined with electric vehicles. It's just beautiful to think about. You can go look at them as well. Go to Chevy.com/electric. They've got thousands of certified EV dealerships. They've got charging stations like you wouldn't believe. So if you're worried about that, not anymore. We are in the new age with Chevy. So go learn more at Chevy.com/electric.
I fucking hate golf fans on Twitter, man. People that are like these gatekeepers of like, this guy wrote, couldn't just say congrats, had to say you're not a fan. Because I wrote, I'm obviously not the biggest fan of Brian Harman, meaning like are there diehard Brian Harman fans out there? I mean, like, show me who's in like the Harman squad. Like, I just don't like, he's just like a nobody, nothing to me, like whatever. He's just like, we just talked about it. And
Frankie cut out again. This happened to him last time. Yeah, this happened when we did the Alert Show. It's great. He just goes completely silent. It's tough seeing. I'm with you, Frankie. I'm not a big fan of all the absolute lunatics that are in the golf Twitter world too. And it's what's infuriating about the golf Twitter world is like that. It's like you're not allowed to joke around. It's like you have to take every element of the game of golf insanely seriously. And it's like, do you not realize that even playing golf with your friends, 90% of the excitement and fun of it is joking around. The whole life's supposed to be about joking around. So now you can't have a single tweet, take, whatever, where like you're clearly being sarcastic and trying to make light of the situation, which the situation is for 99% of people watching was all the same, where it was like, do we need some Gorsebush shots from Brian Harman here? We need a couple lip outs. We need him to miss a 7-footer. We need him to go from 13 under to fucking 9 under. So all of a sudden this turns into a golf tournament. Everybody was feeling that same thing, except for 1% of hardos. And even those fucking guys, I guarantee you those people tweeting that feel the same exact way. They're sitting there being like, yeah, it'd be cool if this was a lot more exciting. They're not sitting there being like, oh, great golf, Brian Harman. That's so impressive. Like, what a fucking loser you would be to be doing that. No one is doing that.
No, and I'm back.
Yes.
Every time I speak with my hands with this new mic, I just knock the fucking wire out, so I have to be less Italian, I guess. But the thing that's wrong with golf is that you're supposed to love every single guy that wins.
That's what it is.
Ridiculous.
There's
it's
no
the
other
stupidest
sport.
thing of all time. The fact that it's the only sport where you're not allowed to root against somebody is preposterous. It's everything that's wrong with golf, and I hate it. I hate you if you are on that side. I hate you with every single burning passion of my body. If you don't think that I'm allowed to say, I hope this guy misses this putt because I want someone else to win, or I'm not the biggest fan of this guy, I'd rather see a close tournament, or I want to see some carnage. I don't really care who wins. I just want to see some like fun shots towards the end.
Yep.
Why is that not allowed? Why does it have to be like everybody that wins is the greatest person ever, and we're all going to be waving our little hats and our panties in the fucking air because Brian Harman won the fucking Open? That's not the way sports works. Every other sport, you're like devastated when your team loses and you hate the other team and you want them to like fucking die. But golf is like champion golfer of the year, no matter who it is. I don't care. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you do. I have to be a fan of you. And if I say it on Twitter, I'm an asshole. It's like, what are you talking about? This is sports.
I'm a little happy. I was a little happy that Brian Harman won in such non-dramatic fashion because, like we talked about earlier, if Rory won this, if Fleetwood won this, and I wasn't there, I might have jumped off the George Washington Bridge. So a great one for me to miss. Someone who is not a fan of Brian Harman, I wanted to read you guys this. I put it in my 18 parting thoughts, which are on BarstoolSports.com. Is Ewan Murray of The Guardian. Let me read you this passage that he wrote about Brian Harman and his hunting habits. He goes, in one of the more bizarre major press conferences departures of recent times, the 36-year-old explained his penchant for killing animals. He missed the cut at the Masters and immediately slaughtered a pig and a turkey. I've been a hunter my entire life, he boasted. I enjoy the strategy of it. We eat a lot of wild meat at my house, so I enjoy butchering, and I do a lot of hunting. Champions traditionally drink from the claret jug. One is left to ponder what on earth Harman may do with the famous trophy. I think that guy is suggesting that he's going to go like kill an elk and drink blood out of the claret jug.
Which, for the record, we are carnivores. Like we kill and eat animals. That's actually how we survived for tens of thousands of years. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for him to be like taking the stance, I do like that people are out there. I look, the main times when I actually found myself rooting hard for Brian Harman was when they would invoke some of the negative shit that people were yelling at him and that people were being like mean to him from the gallery. That kind of galvanized me a little bit to be like, all right, he's out there sort of like by himself with his caddy. People were being mean to him from the gallery because they want Tommy, they want Rory. That was like the one time where I was kind of like, all right, Brian Harman, pretty badass. And we respect it. We get it. Golf's insanely hard to do it in the wind at times, in the rain at times. And like, it's insanely impressive. It's just fucking boring. That's at the end of the day, it's fucking boring. What happened?
I liked his on 18 after he hit the bunker shot. He like let out like a let's go, which just showed us that he was definitely thinking about the possibility of just like blading one into the face of the bunker. Like his mind, that tournament was not over until he got out of that bunker on the 18th hole. So he hit it to like 8 feet. And then he was like, yeah, we got it. We finally got it. So he showed some emotion there at the end. And I'm sure he is, look, when you are a smaller guy, and I will say I sent Frankie this video that made the rounds of him getting out of a truck, which was just a hilarious video. When you're that size and you're playing against, a game that's increasingly dominated by really big guys, we saw that 6'8" college kid was leading after the first round. There's more of those kids coming up.
By the way, they're about to take that photo. We're missing that, I think. They're about to take Low-Am and the Open champion. So it's going to be Christo Lamprecht and Brian Harman standing next to each other. They're going to look like Yao Ming and fucking Lee Trevino. That classic photo that doesn't look real.
It's not just that he's like short. He has like such narrow shoulders. He's a very small guy. What I was saying was that you're going to have a little bit of that fuck everybody mentality. You have to. If you're that size, like you said, 100 and whatever in driving distance, he doesn't hit it far. He's been told all his life probably that, you don't hit it far enough to really be one of the best players in the world. So I definitely think he leaned into that angle of like, they're all rooting against me. Everyone online is rooting against me. They asked him, when they said, what are you going to do, tomorrow before the round? He said, I'm not going to look at my phone. He knows that everyone was rooting for literally everybody else, and the gallery let him know that. So I definitely think that lit the fire under him for sure.
So also his twitchy waggles are out of control, but like I started to respect them. Like at some point he would waggle so much and so feverishly that I actually wanted him to keep doing it. In the beginning, I'm like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way he's going to do this all day. And he's just been doing that his whole life, which I guess. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Brian Harman fan. I just don't I don't watch him every single day. He really, I cannot believe he keeps to that system every single swing. And you know what he does too? He actually looks. So this was when I did Fixing Frankie, a lot of the things that they were teaching me was to find a little spot right in front of the ball. And you can see that he looks at that a lot. He'll look at a spot right in front of the ball on an iron swing. So you're 180 yards out. You're looking at your target 8 inches in front of the ball, which is actually a really, really good tool to use because you're just minimizing everything and you're bringing it closer to you. Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah, the waggles, they started doing the waggle counter. Like, that they're reaching for something when they're doing the waggle counter. The first time they did the waggle counter, it didn't work. It just stayed at 0, which was hilarious. So then you had Azinger, like, just counting the waggles. And then you have, like, we're going to be doing, and we're going to talk a lot about the NV5 Invitational presented by Old National Bank. Korn Ferry Tour broadcast this next week. So we'll be doing our own broadcast. But you could tell then they were trying to time it where they cut to him before he hits the shot, not to capture all of the waggles, but also not to miss the shot. So maybe like 5 or 6 waggles in, they would cut to him and hope that he only had like 1 or 2 more to hit. So you don't know how many you're going to get when they would cut to him. But that's also, that's his routine. That's what he's doing. He's not going to be out there being like, I should waggle less. He's just trying to fucking hit good golf shots. And we all, right? Like, everybody does shit over a shot that you probably don't even really realize. And that just happened to be his. The internet was obsessed with it, which you're going to get out of a guy like that because there's not that much else to be excited about. Ryder Cup, I think this guy's got to be, I mean, I know points and all that. Hopefully now he's just in, but like, even without that, he is, when they do the Ryder Cup in Europe, which we haven't won in like 30 years, he is actually the key kind of guy that you want over there because they're going to set it up. Like when they did it at Le Golf National in Paris, they set it up so bad for Americans and so good for Europeans. You need to hit it straight. And that's pretty much all that matters. If you hit it sideways at all, you're going to be completely fucked. And Brian Harman, even though he's 114th in distance, hitting it straight, making putts, he's like a quintessential Ryder Cup in Europe kind of guy.
Yeah, and he's going to be on the team. You can't not have the winner of the most recent major championship in Europe on the team. The U.S. Ryder Cup picture is all of a sudden a little bit murky. Like the 2 guys who were up there all week, the Americans, were Brian Harman and Cameron Young. And coming into the week, neither of them were in the top 12. Meanwhile, on the European side, you had Rahm, Rory, Victor Hovland, Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka were all right in the mix all week. So all of a sudden, the team picture, it's looking a lot more even than it did. So, I've been talking about this. If there's, in my opinion, there's kind of 9 locks right now. You got Scotty, Wyndham Clark, Brooks, Cantlay, Schauffele, Homa, Spieth, and Fowler. So you've got 3 spots open for the following players: Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Tony Finau, Keegan Bradley, Cameron Young, Sam Burns, and Dustin Johnson. So 3 of those guys are not going to make the team. And the Justin Thomas question is fascinating because there is no sane person on the planet who can argue that he deserves it with his play in recent years. There are obviously 12 guys who are playing better than him, but he's Justin Thomas. He's 6-2-1.
You
think, yeah. And Zach Johnson basically said, I'm not worried about him. Like he'll be there. There's going to be a lot of guys who are not happy, who are going to say, this is a boys club. You know what I mean? Like if this isn't a meritocratic process, if a guy who shot 81 at LACC and then his next major round shot 82, he missed the cut in 3 of the 4 majors. The one that he did make, he made on the number. He finished T65. I mean, he's been horrible this year. So if he's on the team and a guy like Keegan Bradley, who's having a great year, doesn't make the team, you're going to have a bunch of guys who are like, fuck this. Like, what do I need to do to make this team?
I don't know. I think people get that, like, your play in the Ryder Cup matters as well. Like, if he had been part of the boys club and he'd done like okay in the Ryder Cup, then you could have an argument. When you dominate in the Ryder Cup, you deserve to be picked for the Ryder Cup. Like that.
But I mean, he shot over 80 in 2 of his last 3 major rounds. Like
totally,
that's.
But he's dominant in the Ryder Cup, and not just dominant in terms of his record, but he's like the guy. He rallies the crowd. He's got a ton of energy out there. He matches great with obviously Spieth, one of his best friends. Ricky's going to be on the team, one of his best friends. So like he's a lock. I don't think you can even. I get that it's like everybody was doing that thought exercise after JT really stole the headlines Friday. It was crazy.
Yeah,
like people were talking a little bit about the course, and then it was like,
well, there was nothing else.
It was almost like it surfaced out of nowhere where people are like, wait a second, are you guys noticing JT sucks? Like, he's fucking horrible. And it was wild that was like the second thing that they talked about on live from that night. But in my opinion, I don't think they're even going to consider not putting him on the team. And on top of that, he committed to the 3M this next week. So he's doing all of the right things. He's like, I'm trying to make it into the FedEx Cup. I'm like the guy I want to, we're rah. So like, I think he's a lock, but I don't think anybody, like, I don't think Keegan Bradley's going to be like, yeah, Justin Thomas, who's won a couple majors and a players and been dominant in the Ryder Cup, and Mr. Captain America kind of stole that baton from Patrick Reed and became the right guy, got on like as a captain's pick. I really don't think guys are going to bitch about that.
I mean, maybe not publicly, but I think these guys care about this stuff. I mean, we were filming with Keegan last week. He said he thinks about it every single minute of every single day, and they're going to feel like they're fighting an uphill battle. That's not really fair. It's like the deck is stacked against them.
But it still is fair because, like, just because of how he's playing recently doesn't take away like his ability and what people know he can do. That's just not the way sports work. That's not the way the world works. Like,
right.
I understand what you're saying, where like guys are going to feel like they got something taken away from them because of the way they're playing this year. But you can't just like take away everything Justin Thomas has ever done in his career and act like that means nothing, that he has to be performing at a certain level to make this specific team.
But it's not like he's making the cut and finishing 50th. Like he's been a mess over the last 3 months, a total mess.
He has, but it's not like he's incapable of playing golf. He shot 1 under in the second round, right? So it's like he's capable of playing golf. He was top 10 at the Traveler. So he's like capable of playing golf. Yes, he's been bad. He missed 4 of his last 6 cuts. He missed 3 of the 4 cuts in the majors this year, I believe. So like he has had a bad fucking year. But like Frankie said, I mean, when you know what he can do, I don't think you can, like, if you pick him and then he goes in there and sucks, then like the next time you obviously you can't really get by on that. But at this point, I cannot fathom taking a captain's pick and they leave Justin Thomas off that list. That would be insane.
Yeah, especially because, if the last Ryder Cup in Europe, Jim Furyk went with the hot hands. He went with the guys who were playing the best, Tiger, Phil, Bryson, and they all played like shit. And we've seen, Sergio was not playing that well, and then at the Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits, him and Rahm were like unbeatable. So you're right. It is sort of like a different sport. And I do think he'll make the team. So you think they just go chalk with those last 3? You think they go JT, Colin, and Finau?
And if you were the captain and you were doing it fantasy football style, would you pick Justin Thomas with your captain's pick?
I'm not sure I would.
That's crazy
I'm also
absolutely
I'm not in the room. I don't know. I don't know the dynamics of the team, but I just think as a captain, I'd want to cover my ass. And what you said, Riggs, is like, if you don't pick him, then, you could say, oh, he wasn't playing well. If you do pick him and then he plays like shit, then it's like, how did you pick this guy who shot 82 and 81 in a major championship this year?
Justin Thomas, like, is the room. He's the room.
He's the guy. Like, he's the fucking guy. When we were in Paris, he was like the only guy that was even good. He had an unbelievable record. So it's again, I don't think they'll even have a discussion. I don't think Zach Johnson even considering not taking him. I think it's a complete.
I think you're right about that.
100% lock.
He's going to be on the team, I think.
And look, the other, if you're Keegan or somebody and you're upset, like, you should have made it on points, right? You shouldn't have left it up. It's very easy to just say that. Play better. You would have made it on points, and you would have never been in a position where somebody could have gotten taken over you. So at the end of the day, it's like, guess what? JT has played better than you over your entire career, and that's why he's been on Ryder Cup teams. He's been in a position to dominate on Ryder Cup teams. He's done it. He's a lock. So I think he'll be on the team. I think you could tell that from the Ricky comments, the Spieth comments, when they're all asked about him. They're like, he'll figure it out very soon. He'll be fine. So I think he's going to be on the team. But yeah, I mean, if he goes to the 3M and shoots 80-80 and then
misses the playoffs,
doesn't make the playoffs, I think it'll definitely be a conversation point on in the media, but I think he's being taken no matter what.
We're trying here. We're trying to make storylines here. We're grasping at straws. That's what I made that video. It's like nothing else to talk about.
Do you love golf and love to play with others when you do play golf? We do as well. If you're having trouble coordinating time or location for golf matches, maybe it's based on family, maybe it's based on work schedule, maybe the time that you can get out, sneak out for a few hours, your pal can't. Well, guess what? our very good friends at the Links Golf app have figured it out. It's the first ever app of its kind to offer real golf leagues from your phone. Fantasy League meets the reality of golf, and for a limited time, there is free full access. This is great for all golfers, no matter your level. They got normalized scoring, which means it's based on the index, hole handicaps, and course difficulties. So you can have a match with somebody in a different state. You got 7 days to upload your scores. You don't have to do it during the round. So if you want to keep your phone away, you want to put it in your golf bag, you want to leave it in your car and upload the scores afterwards, you can. And then you can have a match through the Links Golf app with your pal. You can join a league. You can play against your favorite YouTubers, podcasters like us, professional golfers, whomever it might be. This is fantastic, boys, for anyone who wants to play golf against their buddies who are not in the exact same spot at the exact same time.
Yep. Adding technology, golf, friendships. I'm in. Sign me up.
Also, people might not know this. Players have gotten better by playing Links Golf. Keeps players engaged, practicing more, try to play their best every single time instead of losing focus over the out there. Not to mention, gets people out playing more when they have a season going with their friends. You have to get out. You have to get in the matches. Like I said, you don't have to play versus your friend at the exact same time. You got 7 days to complete a match. You don't have to use the app when you're playing. You can just fill in the scorecard afterwards. Download the Links Golf app on App Store or Google Play. Set up a league and start playing for this golf season, which we're in right now. For more information, go to www.linksgolfapp.com. Again, go download the Links Golf app and start playing with your friends today.
You know, we have to give a massive shout out to before we move on is Brian Harman's caddy for keeping all of that equipment and Brian Harman dry all day. That is a massive part of the day that I feel like gets overlooked. They probably had an entire system planned out pre-round being like, we're not going to let the weather dictate if we're going to win this major championship or not. So let's just make sure that we are extremely aware of when things are getting wet, how they're getting wet, how we keep everything dry. I mean, I don't think he got a drop of water on him after he would swing. It would be like immediately after the swing, he would hand him the umbrella and he had all of his gloves hanging up. Everyone was saying it looked like a store on him. And it was just a really, really impressive, diligent working duo between Brian Harman and his
I will
caddy.
say easier to keep Brian Harman dry than Sepp Straka,
Okay.
just in terms of volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You
I
said
thought
it.
Frankie was going to go there first. I thought Frankie was going to go there first.
Because that's impressive.
He just has
when I'm out there in the rain,
he hovers over him and just keeps him dry the whole time.
Think about how many mistakes you make when you're out there in the rain. You have that idea. All right, I have all my rain gear on. I've got all these gloves, and then like you pick up your putter or your wedge that was on the ground after you like chipped, and then your day's like ruined. All of your clubs are wet and your grips are wet. They were perfect, and that's huge. That's the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, it's funny how when we play, like rain makes everybody play horrific because you just get uncomfortable. Everything gets wet. It sucks. Those guys, it's not a problem at all. In fact, it's better. The course is soft. Like they just don't mind it. They just got to stay dry. But you're right. That's a heroic effort because, man, once you get behind in wet conditions, it's over. You can't catch up. Once the grips get wet, once whatever happens, you're completely fucked out there. Big shout out to Dewey. Dwayne Bach, our guy who's been on the bag for Sepp Straka for a few weeks now. They got the win at the John Deere Classic. Played incredibly well this week. He had top 5 finish or something. I know he bogeyed, hit one out of bounds, I think, on the last hole and made a bogey there, but he still was 6 or 7 under for the week, 7 under for the week. So Dewey, another nice paycheck. T2, great to see out of our guy out there. That's going to be a hell of a paycheck. Jon Rahm with the 63 on Saturday, vaulted himself back into the tournament. Haven't really seen much from him really since he won the Masters. I feel like he had won 4 times at that point, I believe, to begin the year. He'd come on this show a few different times. He'd been great. We chatted with him at the PGA. Kind of became one of our guys. Still is one of our guys. I love Jon Rahm. I love how raw and real he is. I love that even the fact that he's as conscious as he is about the media and what people say about him, he still, even after the Thursday or Friday round when he was with Rory, And he was like, this fucking camera guy just like wouldn't get the camera out of my face. I'm pissed off. I just made a mess of 18. The last thing I want to do, and all they wanted to do was talk to Rory. Like, he's still just letting it fire, which I love. Coming down the stretch, he was berating himself. He hit a wedge to like 40 feet on 15 and was like, you got absolutely nothing to lose, John. You're hitting wedges to 40 feet. So he's chirping himself. So he's still very, very fun to watch. Nice little resurgence from him. And he cashed that bet. That was low round 63 or lower for the entire week, was plus 135 in the Barstool Sports book. Jon Rahm cashed that, despite the fact that someone told me it was a horrible bet after the bet actually hit, which is, I still will never understand that. But nice round from Jon Rahm, nice week from Jon Rahm. And then we got to talk about Rory McIlroy. Kind of a lot of the same, to be honest with you. Played incredibly well. He was right there. It felt like all of Saturday and all of Sunday, you're just looking at it with a lot of what could have been. He started off both days just on fire, and you're thinking this could be that 64 from Rory on the weekend that vaults him into the lead or gets him up there, kind of separates himself from the field, and he's able to like take a little bit of pressure off. But he stalled out Saturday, he stalled out Sunday. You can feel it get to that point where it's like, okay, he needs to make one or two of these putts. Let's get it going. And those putts just in majors on the weekend do not seem to go in. He makes a bogey when it's like, how the hell is he making a bogey? He's been hitting it to 5 feet the whole time. And he stalls and has his 20th top 10 major finish since his last major win, which is outrageous. He's finished 7 times in the last 8 majors. He's finished inside the top 10. Hasn't won a major since 2014.
I have no doubt he's going to win the FedEx Cup. I have no doubt he's going to win the FedEx Cup. It's just like how it works with the golf gods and with Rory McIlroy. And it's cruel, right? That he's done everything but win a major since 2014. He's won the FedEx Cup 3 times. He's won the Players Championship. He's finished second. Like you said, he's had all those top 10s, but he hasn't won a major. And that's the narrative. And it's, we've talked about this in the past, that throughout the war of the tours, right? The last 2 years or whatever it's been, nice. One of the main beneficiaries, coined that one. One of the main beneficiaries, that's the name of my book, that book deal I'm going to sign about this whole thing. One of the main beneficiaries has been the majors. They stand alone as the only tournaments that have all of the top players. There's, the politics are kind of out of it, and they're more important than ever. And he hasn't won one. And no matter what he does, he'll win the FedEx Cup. I really do think so. He might even get back to number 1 in the world. He's finishing in the top 5 in all of these, but it just doesn't matter. And it's not fair, but it's true. And the same thing for Scottie Scheffler, who has been historically good this year. Historically good by any measure. He came into this week with, I think, 18 straight top 12s, 7 straight top 5s. His year, he's leading the tour in strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach. I mean, it's, by all accounts, it's a historically good year, but it doesn't have a major championship. And so it will fade from memory. It's like Rory's year last year. He was so great. He was there in all of the majors, but he didn't win a major. And it's not fair, but that's how, when you're that good, that's how you're judged.
I love Rory. I love Rory just as much as you guys do. I root for him every single tournament he's in. But when he acts like every single putt that he misses was like the most unbelievable bad break of all time, and it happens like 14 times around, it starts to get on my nerves a little bit. It's like week? It's 7 putts in a row where he like does that lean over and looks at everyone around the green being like, can you believe that didn't go in? It's like, dude, I can kind of believe it. It's been happening all day. All right. Like, until it starts going in, then we can start having those reactions. But if you go back and watch all of these Sunday rounds, and he acts like every single one like hit a pebble and bounced right, and that's the reason it didn't go in. It's just a little bit like, come on, dude. Like, it just didn't go in. We're not rolling putts, and that's why we're not winning majors. It's just a fact of the matter.
It's just got to be infuriating, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just this like deflating, infuriating feeling of hitting it that good. And it's not like, to defend him a little bit, it's not like his putts are like awful, right? Like, they are close. It feels like they are close to going in. Now, it doesn't mean that they're like unlucky every time, but it's like if they kind of burn the edge. He had that horseshoe one on like 16.
The horseshoe one was brutal.
So it's like, dude, that's got to just be so fucking infuriating that the putts won't go in. Yeah, it's just gotta suck. It's gotta
and it's
suck.
the same.
But when they don't go in for like 10 years, at some point you have to stop complaining about it and just start making them. You know what I mean? Like, you can't keep giving me that like deep breath over your, like, you kind of bend all the way down and you look at your caddy and you're like, how? It's like, I know how. It's been happening for a decade. I know how. It's not.
It's the same thing with Tommy and the same thing with Cameron Young all weekend. These guys are just hitting it so good and not able to make any putts. And the drive for show, putt for dough has been kind of disproven by the statistics over the course of a season. If you look at strokes gained tee to green, it's obviously a much better indicator of the best players in the world than strokes gained putting. But for 1 week, give me the guy with the hot putter. I mean, Brian Harman picked up over 11 shots on the field with his putting alone this week. He made every single thing that he looked at. So it's almost like having a hot goalie in hockey. That's my first hockey reference that I think was decent, in the sense of like, it's kind of a cheat code.
Yeah.
Like, yes, is it sustainable for the rest of the year? Is Brian Harman all of a sudden now, a top 10 player? Probably not. But he had one unbelievable putting week, chipping and putting, and it's why he won the tournament. He picked up 11 shots on the field with his putting.
Yeah, I think totally. I think for me, a better way to kind of categorize that is like, it's who's got the hottest putter of the guys that hit it well that week, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you have to hit at a certain level,
right? Like, if you just look at the stats of like any given week, who just like putted the best, and it's like, well, it might be somebody who finished fucking 45th, but it's like if you take the guys in the top 20 that like you got to hit it good that week. Brian Harman still hit it great. He was like number 1 in accuracy all week. So it's like he hit it great and putted really well. So I think if you look any given week, like, okay, you got 20 guys or whatever that hit the ball the best, then who putted the best out of that is probably going to win. And like that seems to boil it down. Whereas like if you're just an amazing putter, you're not just going to win every like you got to hit the golf ball at some point. You have to hit it in play. You can't be hitting it OB on 18. You can't be hitting it behind the green on 17. Like you just have to hit it pretty good. And then if you putt it really well from there, you're probably going to win or have a great chance, which is what Brian Harman did. And I also think that matters coming down like the stretch a lot, right? Like these guys, we see it all the time. Like you can't come down the stretch of a golf tournament or the final round of a golf tournament in or near the lead and just be missing putts all over the place and like kind of hold it. You got to be that guy that's like, you got that touch, you got that feel, you're reading the greens properly, you're pouring it in, your speed's proper that day, that week. And that's just the guy that wins. And it wasn't like Brian Harman wasn't limping them in really. It's like when he was making putts, they were going dead center with coal speed, like Tiger used to do, like Jack used to do, like these guys that putt like Jason Day does all the time, right? Like Cam Smith does. Like when he's out there, when they show these clips of Cam Smith putting, they don't catch it's not like they were rolling 4 or 5 feet by and it hammers the back of the cup. Like these putts, they start to break at the right time. They roll right over the edge. They don't even really hit the back of the hole. They just fall right in the middle. And that's kind of what Brian Harman was doing with the spaceship. So that's just hard to like, even on those 10 footers, it's like, if he reads it right, those are just going to go right in the middle of the hole. He's hitting it perfectly. So that adds up. And man, the fact that he won by what, six shots that he won this tournament by, we don't see that very often. Like that, we see that less than 5-10 times in our like in this span of our adult lives of like watching and following major championship golf. That just doesn't happen very often. So he won by 1 million. It's shocking. It wasn't like he overpowered the entire course, but it's also not that shocking in that he was, top 30 player in the world rankings coming into this. He's got a bunch of high finishes. So yeah, it's just a bummer that combined with like Hoylake not being the most exciting golf course in general from an aesthetic standpoint. It just could have delivered a little bit more. I think that would have been exciting. And it was so fucking close. We had Tommy, we had Rory, we had Rahm making a charge. Like we had guys that were right there.
Yeah, no one could get to like 8 or 9 early enough.
No.
So I think Straka got to 8 at 15, and I think he had a putt actually to get to 9 at 17. He did. He had like a 10-footer that he missed. You just wanted a little bit of scoreboard pressure. You wanted Harman to look up there and see someone breathing down his neck. And there were big names, but they just never got close enough. There was never anyone within 2 or 3 down the stretch. And so he was able to play those last 6 holes without much stress.
It's also just like, I've just kind of had enough of like guys in big moments with big putts that are kind of leading, making it and just giving the like,
yeah.
It's like, come on, man. Like, you made a huge putt. Like, give me something, right? Like even Rory on Thursday and Friday made those putts on the last hole after like that insane up and down from that bunker and another birdie putt. And he gave a little fist pump, and you're like, that's why Rory's our guy. That's like, if that meant something to you, Rory, that meant something to me. We're in this. And like Harman's just kind of, thank you.
Yeah.
Same with like Wyndham. It was like they're just kind of giving the little wave, and it's not a knock on them as like human beings, but in terms of entertainment value and bringing it, like it is a knock because it's like, dude,
it's why we like watching Rahm and Tyrrell so much, is because they're human beings out there who are like us. I really enjoyed Colin Morikawa's press conference before the tournament. He got paired with Max Homa, who's one of his good buddies, and Tyrrell, and they asked him about the pairing, and he said, it's one of the best pairings I've ever had because Max and I are close, and Tyrrell, it's super entertaining. It's just like, it's not that deep. It's like, I think a lot of these guys think, oh, maybe the players are really annoyed by it. No, they think it's funny too. It is funny. It's funny. It's entertaining. By all means, he doesn't, or by all available evidence, he doesn't slow them down. He doesn't do it. He doesn't negatively affect his playing partners. So yeah, we need more emotion in the sport, not less.
Right. By all accounts, he comes over to the tee afterwards and he's like, sorry about that one there, boys. And everybody laughs and like, it's just whatever. You're having a good time.
He went with a gun. Did you see him go with the gun on 18 after he? Yeah. And they asked him after, he's like, I'm not trying to be funny. That's just like what popped into my head to do at that point. It was just,
which I believe. It's just instinctual. Gun. That guy's just an instinctual man. We speak on this very show about how we're not the biggest fans of the sun. We don't like being out in the sun. We prefer the shade. But guess what? The sun is there. It comes up every single day. It goes down every single day. That's just how it works. Times of struggling to see your golf shots are now over. We are introducing Green Wolf high-performance precision sunglasses powered by Shady Rays, designed with golfers in mind. Green Wolf is exclusively built for golf with semi-polarized lenses specifically made to enhance your game. You've probably seen, I know you guys have seen and noticed, like Ricky, Phil, these guys are literally wearing sunglasses while they play golf now. Shady Rays has created sunglasses, the Green Wolf, that are semi-polarized. They cut glare while increasing clarity, so your ability to track your ball is maximized no matter the conditions. If you don't love your sunglasses, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop, and their team always has your back with personal and fast support. We love Shady Rays, fellas.
Yeah, I'm wearing Shady Rays tomorrow on my qualifier. I wear Shady Rays when I play golf. Really great sunglasses, same quality as the expensive ones without the expensive price. The best warranty you could possibly ask for. And look, your eyes deserve protection just like your skin deserves protection. Wearing, you don't want to burn your eyes, have to get surgery later in life. So get out ahead of it with the sunglasses.
That would suck.
Yeah, so that's something I've been thinking about. I don't wear sunglasses that often in public, and I was out with a bunch of people and I looked around and there was a sunny area and everyone had sunglasses on except for me. And I was like, I'm doing something that no one else, like I'm not doing the right thing to my
no, you're
eyes.
Not
clearly I'm the only idiot that's just like not paying attention to like clearly their lives are way better with sunglasses on in this moment.
Don't you feel like you have to like squint? Aren't you out there? Like,
for sure. But I've just been, so I need to get these new like semi-polarized. What are they called? The Green
Wolf. So exclusively for our listeners, Green Wolf. They're giving out an amazing deal for the season. You go to greenwolfgolf.com. Use the code FOREGW. So FOREGW, one word, FOREGW for 30% off your first pair. We're giving 30% off. It's a great deal. Go to greenwolfgolf.com. The code is FORGW. That's 4GW. You get 30% off your first pair. Royal Liverpool, I know we touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about how the fact that it actually, from a difficulty standpoint, held up insanely well. I mean, there's one guy who finished double digits under par. There are a lot of concern. I think it was 18 and 17 under were the two winning scores from Tiger and Rory the last two times. So the only two times it's been held since the 39-year drought that it had. And it held up. There was the first day they were concerned. There really wasn't a ton of wind. And 5 under was the best score. Friday, I think there was a good amount of wind. Saturday in the morning and throughout most of the day, there wasn't a ton of wind. And still, without the weather being crazy, without the wind being nuts, without the course being overly long at 73-something hundred yards, which for those guys is not that long. The green's only running at a 10 and a half for most of the week. The fact that it was only, one guy that was 13 under and the next best was 7 under. The course held up insanely well for a course that's 150 years old. It's been out there doing it for a long time. So I like that aspect of it. Kind of nuts to think there's only 14 courses in the history of the British Open, 151 tournaments that have ever hosted the British Open. 2 of them we've played that don't host it anymore, Prestwick and Musselburgh that we played, which was like this place that we played with Persimmons.
That's like the oldest golf course in the world, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the oldest ever. We played it with Persimmons. It's like 9 holes inside this horse track. It's unbelievably cool. And then there's another one a couple that I haven't really heard of. Royal Cinque
Cinque Ports.
Cinque
Right
Ports?
next to it's right next to what's it, where they have it just one call in one, Royal St. George's. It's in the south. Yeah.
And then Prince's Golf Club.
Also
those are
right
the
there. Also right
four
there.
that aren't on the rotation anymore. But the rest, which we all know, it's wild to think, right? Because there's a Chambers Bay that gets thrown in. There's an Aaron Hills that gets thrown in for the U.S. Open and for the PGAs, right? And they just have been doing it. It adds to the prestige, the history, the tradition, how old, and just it's really cool. So yeah, I thought that was amazing that there's only been 14 of all time. Now there's pretty much 10 on the rotation, and of those 10, Royal Port Rush has only hosted 2. It was like 1951 and then 2019, and they're going back there in a few years, and that'll be kind of a mainstay on there. It'll be interesting to see if they go back to Turnberry. Now
they're not going to until the guy said it this week. He was like, until we can be confident until we can be confident that week would be about the golf and the players. That course apparently has been like very Trumpified. His name is everywhere. So I don't think they're going to go back there. One course thought before the tournament, there was a lot of talk about the 17th hole. Pete Cowan said with a straight face, I presume, I didn't see it, that it would ruin some people's careers. And Billy Foster, Matt Fitzpatrick's caddy, called it a monstrosity. It averaged 3.09 on Sunday, and that was basically what it was for the whole week. So, guys were saying it's too penal. It's a wedge, man. If you miss the green with a wedge, it should be penal. So there was a lot of bitching about that. It didn't ruin anyone's career. I think Tommy Fleetwood will bounce back from his 6 on that hole. Even though it was the 71st one of a major, he hit a poor shot. That's what happens when you hit a bad shot. I like that. I like a little bit of chaos coming down the stretch. There was 2 par 5s in the last 4 holes. All right, let's make him sweat a little bit on 17.
I loved it. I agree. I thought it was great. Matty Fitz and his brother Alex both made triple on that hole. They still both made the cut. I think Alex had I don't know if he finished top
T17. T17 was great week for him.
Really
amazing for him. Obviously, kind of in the shadow of Matty Fitz. It was nuts to see him out there, like even kind of getting himself into the top 10, top 5 for a little bit in the British Open after last year. I feel like he was just with you, Dan, like going nuts when Fitz won the U.S. Open, as like his shooter. He caddied for Fitz when he won the amateur there, and I believe that was 2013 at the Country Club. So now for him to be out there playing incredibly well at the British Open was really, really cool to see. But yeah,
he shows emotion too.
Yeah,
he's him and Matt are polar opposites.
They have to be, because you can see every
opposites.
putt. He lives and dies with every single putt.
Yeah, he smiles on the golf course, which is something that Matt doesn't do. They asked Matt at the Zurich, because he tagged Alex in. They were actually up by the lead for a couple days there at the Zurich. I think they had a bad weekend, but they asked Matt. He goes, "We're complete opposites. I'm organized. He's unorganized." He goes, "He's happy. I'm miserable." So they know they're aware of the differences between themselves.
Does he do the note taking?
Nope, none of it.
Wow,
yeah.
Really?
He's a completely Alex is like a happy-go-lucky kid who's like, will hit a couple balls and go play, whereas Matt, like, it treats his career like it's rocket science. It's just a fact.
It's hard to say because Matt is a major champion winner, so it'd be hard to, like, I guess, pin this down. But is Alex a more naturally better, like, athlete where he's able to do that stuff? And Matt,
he definitely hits it further, and he has like an incredible short game. Yeah, I would say that's probably a fair take. Matt definitely outworks the kid, but this was the first time ever, I believe, that Alex has ever beaten Matt in a tournament. So they had played a couple. Yeah, they'd played a couple European Tour events together, and Matt had always kind of dusted Alex. So I'm sure he's having some fun at family dinner.
That's going to be a fun fucking sibling rivalry on the PGA Tour, man. Like it won't be a rivalry, but I'm sure like we're going to get a Sunday where they're both in contention. Imagine that, like, final pairing, the Fitzpatricks. That's electric.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
I mean, they've been dreaming about playing with each other in a Ryder Cup, and it's not going to happen this year, but it's definitely in a potential for the future.
Am I blanking? Is that like, when's that happened last? Like, two siblings that...
There's the Cooties on the Korn Ferry Tour who are both up there this week. I don't know if they're still there.
The Molinaris? One of them probably murdered?
Yeah, but I don't know if they were ever like
probably European
battling
Tour
it out.
Yeah.
But never on the PGA Tours there have been like two big name brothers going at it, like going for a championship or
Nothing comes to mind. I don't think Chase ever
got
up.
Chase
Koepka ever got up there. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. All your buddies would be creaming themselves with those headlines, Dan. My God.
Yeah, the brotherly love. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm excited to read the gamers. I like reading the gamers, the guys who write the flowery essays about the tournaments.
About what happened. They just write what happened.
but they don't really even write what happened. They like talk about like, oh, the crowd, like the applause swallowed them whole. It's like, no, it didn't. There's a lot of like fiction going on, which is fun. I'm excited to see what they did with this one, because I think they're gonna go deep into their bag with the hunting being the hunter being the hunted. I think that's, if you put your sort of Hemingway hat on, that's kind of where you would go. The conditions, and he's the smallest guy out there. So I'm excited to read those. They'll be up in about an hour. So I'm looking forward to it.
Boy,
what do you guys think about the fans at Royal Liverpool? What do you guys think about the crowd and the noise? I thought it was kind of subdued for what I wanted for
they hated Brian Harman. They were like openly rooting against him. So I think they were waiting for something to happen. But yeah, it's funny that you see all the European golf people on Twitter talking about how the American fans are disgusting and the European fans, appreciate good golf. They were boos on the first tee for Brian Harman, which I like. Like you said, that's cool. We like that. We like a little bit of adversarial nature in a tournament, but let's not pretend like, there's one group of fans is just like Mother Teresa and the other ones are, Joseph.
No,
Cody.
that's bullshit. Also, like their soccer like stadiums over there, they burn the stadium down during the game. So it's not, that gets a little bit overdone in my opinion. I get that they're not quite as rowdy, but also you want them rowdy, right? Like I would rather have the Phoenix Open crowd than like what I was seeing from that crowd from a pure entertainment standpoint. But yeah, it was subdued. I imagine that's a big part of the Brian Harman situation. Like when they introduced him on the first tee, it was like awkward when they introduced him on the first tee today. Yeah, it was like there were like 4 people clapping and everyone else kind of it was weird. So yeah, I agree with you, Frankie. I thought the crowds weren't. Yeah, they didn't really do it for me. There just wasn't a lot of electricity.
Even Tommy Fleetwood, I think on his social was like, let's hear it a little more for the hometown guy tomorrow. Like on his Instagram story, he's like, be louder for me. I thought like he wanted people kind of like galvanizing behind Tommy Fleetwood every time. Yeah, I just didn't feel it. I don't know. It's probably the golf course, the weather, and Brian Harman just running away with it. I just didn't feel it today.
I was kind of thinking about this earlier too. Is England as a whole is sort of a depressing place, right? It's just like comparatively speaking, it just kind of came off.
I haven't been there enough.
That's the stereotype, is that it's never nice outside and the people are sort of gruff.
Right. It's gloomy and yeah, just kind of like muted and like, so it just that seeped through everything, I think. And then when
I like that though, I'm like anti sun and sunburn, and
I'm with you.
Like I don't want to be on a lake like splashing like my friends and like everyone's kind of in your happy place and happy go more. I want to be in like the clouds, and I want to.
Yeah, but you're also a theater guy. Like you love the magic of Disney, and you love Jimmy Fallon when he comes out, and Taylor Swift, and like flowers.
I think
and
England's got that
and
shit.
like,
England feels like a movie set to me. Like everything's kind of foggy and like the piers, and you hear the bells and all the boats are coming in, and everyone's got those crazy accents. England,
bells are like bells. I think are kind of like depressing, like right? Like
I kind of like that feel. I'm like picturing a foggy pier with a bell coming in, and a guy with an accent and like a wooden leg. Like that's kind of what I'm picturing right now, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
There's a romanticism about that for sure. There's like a tourist attraction-y part of being in that with like your friends or with your wife or girlfriend and like experiencing that part of the world. But that is not conducive to like a great crowd at a golf tournament. It's like they need a reason to break out of that, I feel like, and they just couldn't quite get one. They wanted it to be Tommy, but yeah, I'm with you. The crowd, it just wasn't. It was kind of depressing, really. You're waiting for it to break through, and it couldn't. And now we don't have major championship golf for like 9 months, which is absolutely devastating. But we got the Ryder Cup. The next thing is really the Ryder Cup. We'll get I'm sure we'll get a little bit into the juice of the FedEx Cup. We got merchandise that's coming there. So, Rory will, like you said, Dan, Rory will win, and everyone's like, I can't wait for the Masters. Rory's going to win. And then we're going to go through the same fucking cycle over and over and over again. Today's episode is brought to you by Whoop, the official fitness wearable of the PGA and LPGA tours. They're also going to be integral in the Korn Ferry Tour, sponsoring the event this next week, the MV5 Invitational presented by Old National Bank. We're going to be out there. We love using Whoop. I actually had a great stretch. I had 4 straight days last week where I woke up in the green on the recovery. 5 metrics that I do have on there. It's got like skin temperature. It's got all kinds of cool metrics in there. They're all in the green. They're all great. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling ready to rock. I had a 97% recovery day last week, which is just when you wake up and it's all green, you feel like you could do anything. So they're a big part of next week. They also can monitor your heart rate in real time. Trent loves to show his when he hits those first tee shots. Dan, we're going to be able to monitor yours tomorrow when you play inevitably in this qualifier. And you obviously don't want to post a bad score, do you?
No, I definitely do not. That's the goal number 1, 2, and 3 is don't embarrass yourself. So I'll be nervous out there for sure. Even though I know I'm not going to make it, it's still public. Super public.
Incredible fitness wearable that Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, they rock this thing. We rock this thing. It's you keep all the data on everything. We've seen how much the world has become more optimized because of data from sports, Moneyball that we've seen, golf, stats, our guy Will Zalatoris and using data golf and all that. We've seen just how much you can optimize. Why would you not use that on your own body, on your own person? Be crazy not to have the stats, see what you're good at, what you're not good at, how your heart's doing, how you're sleeping. All of that. Whoop does it. It's simple. You just put this wearable on, you get all the data. You can go to join.whoop.com/Fore to get your 1 month free trial on Whoop and unlock the best version of yourself. That is join.whoop.com/Fore, Fore, to get your 1 month free trial on Whoop. Next up for us is the Korn Ferry Tour event. So we're flying to Chicago. We're going to be broadcasting a Korn Ferry Tour event. It's very exciting. NV5 Invitational presented by Old National Bank.
I'm playing tomorrow.
Dan's playing in a qualifier. You're trying to qualify for the event.
That's nuts.
I
We got to shoot 63.
I want to be very, very clear about this. We had a meeting last week where the one of the Korn Ferry people execs was like, so if you play, you're really well and you make it, and I go, I want to stop you guys. There's a 0.0% chance of that happening. So any sort of contingency plan that you might be dreaming
what
up
if you catch fire?
There's
dude?
no chance, dude. I shot 1 over on Sunday and I played really, really well. Like I'm not playing well right now. Like there's a 0% chance. Whoop came in as a big sponsor. We're going to have some cool data about how nervous I am on the first tee. I actually don't know if I'm going to be that nervous because I know that I have no chance. There's no chance of me making it, but hopefully, it'll show people just how good these guys are, just how low you have to go. I will not slow anybody up. I don't aim point. There's no they're not going to be like, who the hell is this guy out there? I'm going to be the fastest player of the group. That's a promise. Alex Bush and I are going out there at Old Stonewall tomorrow, 8 a.m. tee time, getting there early. It's going to be hot. And then we'll follow the guys who make it throughout the week. But I'm really excited for next week. It's a new chapter.
Did you guys see this graphic on the broadcast where it says PGA Tour this week, and it said 3M Open? You can find that on Peacock, CBS, PGA Tour Live. The Senior Open, which is in Wales, it's you can find that on NBC, CNBC, and NBC. And then it says the NV5 Invitational. You can find that on Barstool Sports. Pretty fucking
right.
Cool, man.
That was on Golf Channel, or
yeah.
That's awesome. I'm really excited for next week. I'm really excited.
I think it's going to be really, really fun. We've been in these meetings, and you learn a lot about the what's cool about the Korn Ferry Tour and the folks that we're going to be covering, and the stories that we're going to try to highlight during the coverage is how much it means to the players, right? Like this isn't just for prestige. It's not to get more FedEx Cup points. It's not to go from 8th to 4th in the PIP standings. This is to be able to play professional golf as their career. This is the difference between going back and caddying this winter so that you could try to save up and maybe in another year or two make another run, or getting a PGA Tour card if you finish inside the top 30. You've only got a month left. Then they do kind of their playoffs. If you finish inside the top 30 on the Korn Ferry Tour in terms of points for the year, you get your PGA Tour card. You get to in the fall and next year play on the fucking PGA Tour, which is a dream. I think playing on the PGA Tour for almost any sports fan is the coolest dream imaginable. You travel to these beautiful, amazing golf courses, playing for millions of dollars, competing week in and week out. That's the coolest dream ever. Even for people that pick up golf twice a week, they're like, dude, playing on the PGA Tour would be insane. That's what these guys are doing. They're that close to doing that, and the ups and downs and what goes on. Alistair, who's obviously our guy, we're going to highlight him because we know him. He's sponsored by Barstool Golf. We've got him in the merchandise and the gear. He's got the hat and the polos and the whole deal. He lived for 7 straight weeks out of a rental car. He was driving around the Midwest in a rental car for 7 weeks straight, I believe. All winter last winter, he caddied at Silverleaf to save up money so that he could pay to travel around this year on the Korn Ferry Tour and try to make it and get his PGA Tour card. So like these guys are playing for their livelihood, for their careers. And if they don't, you hear all this about like, oh yeah, this guy had to go back and he's like selling insurance or he gets a sales rep job. Like that's what happens if they don't play well at these things. And we're getting into crunch time. The Korn Ferry Tour folks on the calls that we've had are like, we've noticed in the last couple of weeks, a very tense vibe has kind of set over the entire Korn Ferry Tour like fraternity that's out there because it's getting late. It's all fun and games at the beginning, right? They come out, they go to the Bahamas for a couple weeks. They all just got through Korn Ferry Tour finals and they're all excited and like we got 8 starts and now it's like, oh, you don't have that many more starts. Now you're 100th in the fucking points. You need to figure it out. And so we're going to be bringing all those stories to people. There's also like Scotty Scheffler and Cam Young, I believe, won this event that we're putting on. So it's like those guys both were just in the mix at the British Open. They won this event a few years ago, and now they're, some of the best players in the world. So like everything's at stake. We get to broadcast that. We're going to try to kind of capture this dichotomy between like what we do at Barstool and hold the integrity of the game, the broadcast, tell the stories. Kirk's going to be there. Jake Marsh is going to be there. We'll all be there. Francis is going to be out there. So yeah, it's going to be really fun. I'm excited.
It's an amazing opportunity. And yeah, I mean, the golf we're definitely not going to not highlight how intense and how incredible the golf is going to be. We're not going to just Barstoolify the entire thing. I think people are probably going to think it's going to be like a clown show. No, it's going to be pretty intense golf. Like these guys are playing for their lives and we're going to respect that. We're not going to be making a joke or a mockery out of these guys trying to achieve the greatest thing they'll ever be able to achieve in their entire lives. They worked their whole lives for this, and we are very respectful of that. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to be on the grounds of like feeling that because it's super, it's a unique place to be. Like as a fan of just sports, you always just see the pinnacle of it. You always see the top. You go to a Yankee game, you watch the Yankees versus the Red Sox, and that's just like what you see guys performing when they've already made it. I've never really had a chance to be in the mix where guys are like right there to achieve it. And it's got to be a whole new world, a whole new like mental like area that you're seeing people in a different light, that they're about to get there. They could taste it. They can smell it. I mean, and they're also the rankings of some of these guys, like they're like the number 1 ranked player in Korn Ferry like in this tournament. That guy like has aspirations to become like the greatest golfer in the world one day. I mean, This guy thinks he can do it. That's incredible.
The vast majority of the best players in the world played a couple, at least 1 year on the Korn Ferry Tour. It's very, very rare to get your card without doing that. So yeah, and we see guys on the range at a PGA Tour event like on Friday afternoon. They're the last one on the range. And you're like, wow, he's really struggling. It's like, well, he's on the PGA Tour. Things are okay. He's got some money in the bank. We're going to see some guys who are on the struggle bus, and it's not like funny. It's not a joke. Nope. It's like, okay, this is very, very serious. Yeah, I'm going to be out there. I think I'm going to be walking the course. I know Riggs is going to be in the booth, so I will be doing my best to bring that hardcore golf stuff to the broadcast. We're going to be talking about the lies. We're going to be talking about how the putt's going to break. We're going to get all that stuff, but we're also going to have. We're going to make it, it's not going to feel completely stale like a Golf Channel broadcast might. We're going to do both. We're going to do both. That's the goal.
Our biggest thing will be the commercials, because that's do we have commercials? Are we going?
Yeah, someone asked me that. They're like, "What's the ad load?" I was like, I have "No idea. It's not come up." Once.
We have to nail that, because we can't be the guys that always complain about the broadcast.
It'd be great if we just go to commercial.
We should do
every
playing
30 seconds.
through just for 3 hours. Just constantly, you just put a video of like Frank the Tank screaming in a massive, and then in a small picture-in-picture box, just the golf.
I think I'm going to be like Azinger basically. So we got Jake Marsh is going to be kind of Dan Hicks doing the play-by-play, and then you realize like I was reading a bunch of different stuff, and I can't remember who it was. One of the broadcasters was given a great quote. I can't remember who it was. Fuck me. But anyways, they were talking about how during a TV broadcast, you realize that like the viewer sees what they see. So you, when you're speaking, don't need to describe what they're seeing, because they're already seeing. You need to like describe and talk about things that they can't see, that give context to the whole thing, which I thought was a really interesting way to think about the broadcast, because I'm kind of thinking like I visualize this like booth, and people are going to be like seeing me and Jake Marsh, and I think like Francis is going to be up there quite a bit. And I'm like, actually, they never really see that. They're just seeing the golf, and you're kind of like talking and describing, giving context to what's going on. We hired Justin Ray, the stats
man.
guys. So anybody who's
The
in the
man.
golf Twitter world who knows Justin Ray, he's awesome. We all retweet him all the time. He pulls fucking amazing stats. He worked for Golf Channel forever. Now he's kind of freelance and does his own thing at times. And so we freelanced him for the week. So we're going to be relying on him. I'm not sure yet if he's going to be like on the broadcast, if he's going to be kind of behind the scenes feeding us stuff. He might do a little bit of both. We're going to do a bunch of like rehearsals and kind of figure all that out. But he's going to be giving us a lot of context and a lot of stats. So we brought in a lot of cool stuff to try to make it sweet. We're going to let the golf largely speak for itself, but we have done like we did basically a kind of an approval thing from the players of like, are you cool with doing stuff for the 3 days before Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that we could package, that we could play during the event? Are you cool with like talking to Frankie, Trent, Kirk, Dan on course, during the round? Obviously, we're going to exercise discretion and judgment. We're not just going to, we're not going to Jon Rahm somebody and shove a mic in their face when they're clearly pissed off and don't want to talk. But like, we are going to try to bring it to life while also showcasing how fucking serious it is that these people are playing for their career. So people, I believe we've got merchandise that'll be on site. I got this hat right here.
It's a great hat.
This logo is awesome.
Yeah, if you're in the Chicago area, make sure you come to the tournament. We're going to be there. We want all the stoolies out there. We want to feel the love, the support, because this is a big one for us for sure. This is a huge event. It's a cute world that we live in where it's like YouTube videos and just doing podcasts. Like, we are in charge of real shit this week. This is real impactful golf shit.
Have you guys seen the forecast?
Yes. No.
It's going to be hot.
It's going to be a scorcher.
But
and I am a little bit nervous about, like, because I've seen Smiley and Cold out there, and they're wearing quite a bit of clothes, and they're wearing that's what I'm saying, like 97 degrees and wearing like all of this microphones. You're going to be in the AC. There's going to be AC in the booth for sure. I'm going to be sweating like crazy out there.
I'll be wearing pants.
I'm going to be sweating like crazy.
Can't wait to
out
chirp
there.
you guys during the coverage and be like, it's actually a little chilly in here. Can we turn up the AC?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. We got a meet and greet too tomorrow night, Monday night, at Barstool River North, I believe. So from, I think, 6 to 8 or 6 to 9 p.m., I think a bunch of the players are going to come by. We're going to be hanging there. Obviously, Barstool River North open to the public, so if people want to come by. And then, throughout the week, it's the Glen Club, which is in, I think it's Glenview, Illinois, which is just north of Chicago, the city of Chicago. So come on by, check it out. We're going to be doing from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Barstool.tv will be our broadcast. That's 2:30 to 5:30 local time Central. Barstool.tv, that's it. You go to that link, and then for those 3 hours, we're going to be doing the coverage. Obviously, on the weekend, we're going to be able to focus kind of on the back nine of the leaders and really hone in on how the tournament's shaping up. But we're going to do cut watch on Friday, right? Making the cut is a huge difference for these guys. So those last 3 hours of that, kind of as play finishes up on Friday, we're going to hammer in on the cut, what it means to people. We got feature groups for Thursday and Friday. We're going to try to find kind of a mix of interesting players and work with the competitions committees to see who they can pair together. We can focus on those feature groups. We're putting on a Korn Ferry Tour broadcast, boys. It's going to be a great fucking time.
I feel like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be just like crash course in learning. Like, I feel a little bit unprepared.
We got a lot to learn.
I feel like we have a lot to do.
For sure, dude. I mean, you guys have a lot to learn. I'm going to try and just find things out there on the course. Riggs has to learn how to be like a commentator in the booth. Like Trevor Immelman says, it's just as much work as trying to win the Masters. Remember when he said that? It's like it's just as much work as preparing for a professional golf tournament. It's insane.
Totally. We have an exclusive ticketing app at Barstool Sports, and that is Game Time. It's created by fans, for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, shows. They guarantee the lowest price. Ever since we had the shutdowns, people really realized, cherished how nice it is to go to an event. For like a year, we couldn't go to any events. Going to an event is what life's all about. It's what life is. It's why you work. It's why you go grind. It's why you do the 9 to 5. It's why you deal with everything. So you can go enjoy fun things. You can spend your money. You don't want to spend all of it. You want to get the best deals that you possibly can. You probably don't plan as well as you possibly can. So you're late. You want to get last minute deals. You want it to be quick. Take a couple taps. Take 10 seconds. That's Game Time.
It's the thing that I care most about is getting entertained and seeing live sporting events and and music. I do like movies also, but I don't think you can get them on Game Time. But I like seeing
movies are great.
They are great. I like seeing concerts. I like seeing plays. It's just that is where you see people's skill. That's where humans are able to thrive. You get to watch them on these grand stages and these incredible performances. So yes, please go enjoy life. Go get tickets. Make sure that you have Game Time, because it is by far the greatest app that you can have to get last minute tickets. And enjoy your life. Spend your money. You can't die with it. Go out and do things. Like if you're always just like nickeling and diming your way through life, you're gonna end up miserable. Go enjoy stuff. You're gonna. That's how you get memories. Sitting in a room looking at a wall is not going to get you anywhere.
It's not going to do it. Redeem code is Fore. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. You download the Game Time app, or you can go to the website, enter your email, and you redeem code FORE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, go download Game Time. Use that code Fore.
I do want to say on Wednesday, we have a YouTube video coming out. Trent and I were a 2-man scramble team against the Glen Club, and we played as far back as humanly possible, probably further than what they'll play in this in the MV5. I think we played it from like 7,500 yards. It was not the easiest day of golf, and we did a 2-man scramble, me and Trent. It's a very, very fun look at the golf course, and you'll just be able to see how we played compared to how the guys are going to be playing it. We'll also show that during the broadcast, hopefully, and see how we played certain holes. There's a lot of really, really fun holes at the Glen Club, and I cannot wait to see how these guys just torch it compared to, like, we couldn't even fathom making birdies on some of these holes as a scramble. We looked at each other, we're like, can you imagine having to play your own ball on this hole and making a 3 like when it matters? And we made multiple bogeys. So I mean, it's tough. It's a tough golf course.
Dude, it's amazing because I'm looking right now. Like these guys, the Chandler Phillips, who's leading right now on the Korn Ferry Tour, they're finishing up on Sunday. The final round just started. He's 23 under, 2 holes into his final round, and he's leading. And guess what? He's got like a 3-shot lead on 6 people. Like there's a bunch of other guys 20 under, 21 under, 19 under. And they're fucking through 3 rounds basically. So yeah, these guys can go insanely low. They're going to torch the Glen Club. And so, yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff like that we're going to do to kind of show the difference between them and us and normal players. We're going to be getting stuff from them on the range. So, yeah, we're going to be all over that Korn Ferry Tour event this week. A couple other things I got to get to before we shut this thing down. Messi. Did you guys see Messi on Friday?
Incredible.
Yeah. I walked out of a movie and saw it. Like I saw Mission Impossible and I saw it, and I almost thought, like, did the goalie let that happen? Because it was too perfect. It was scripted.
You think that from the regular angle, but then you see all the alternate shots and like the crowd shot, and it's the most perfect soccer strike you could possibly think of. It barely misses the defender's head, who's jumping in front of him, that wall, and it curves like a 90-degree angle down and sideways. It's unbelievable, and it's goat shit, is what they were saying on Twitter. It's stuff that is made for movies, and these guys, like, you don't want to put them all in the same class, but they are. It's like the Tom Brady's, the LeBrons, the Messis, all these guys just somehow. Derek Jeter getting his final game, hits a walk-off. His 3,000th hit, he hits a home run. Like, they just somehow do it. Even when you're like, it would be awesome if Messi scored here in his first game, but like, he probably won't, and he does. And it's just
to win the game in the 95th minute.
And it's like, how do these guys continuously do it? How does Tom Brady come back from 27-3 against the Falcons? Like, of course it'd be awesome. Of course he has the ability, but he won't do it. That'd be a movie. They do it. It reminded me like in real time of watching the Tiger putt in 2008 at the US Open to get into the playoff.
Yeah.
And being like, because that theater built so dramatically, and he came up short on 16. He came up short on 17. He needed a birdie. He hit a couple bad shots on 18. And you're like, this is going to come down to a putt, isn't it? This is going to come down to a putt. And he's got that like 12 or 15 footer, and he's stalking it forever. And you're like, he's not going to actually make. I know we all say he always makes it, like he's not going to actually make it. And then he fucking makes it. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was like,
it's amazing.
When I saw that Messi moment, I was like, no way is he in his first game in Miami after they did the whole bring him out earlier in the week. They brought Leo Messi, the greatest player of all time. He just won the World Cup and the whole deal. And they bring him. David Beckham's crying and Messi's out there. They call him into the game. Everybody goes nuts. They sold out. Miami's like the worst team in the league. And he buries it in the 94th or 5th minute to win the game and goes crazy. It was fucking awesome. So I thought on a Friday night, the MLS delivering, that gave me the chills. That was one of the cooler moments I've seen in a long time.
You want to talk about return on investment? Obviously, they pay him $1 billion.
Well, the whole league is paying him. I think
right.
Apple is paying it. It's part of the TV deal.
They've already cashed in. They're already making money back because that moment has just put the MLS on the map way more than anything that's ever happened in the MLS.
Yeah.
I know the name Inter Miami Football Club now. That's not even a real place.
They have more than double the followers of any NFL team on Instagram now. They had 900. They had 900,000. Now they have over 10 million.
Right.
What?
So it's
what
he moves shit, man.
Soccer is different, dude. Soccer is the scale is different.
Dude, him seeing him too. The other guys on his team running after him after he scored, being like, dude, these guys a week ago, probably never thought they would ever even talk to Messi. Now they get to be in this shot where they're running after him after he scored to win the game with them. I couldn't believe when I saw that. That was fake life shit. So that was fucking sick. Messi's the best. I can't wait to watch more stuff from that.
I got something real quick. You know what's more exciting than Brian Harman winning the Open today is me getting approved for TSA pre-check today.
Hey,
you
what
weren't
was that process
TSA
like?
How about the fact that
possible,
dude? I flew.
I have clear, but not
60,000 miles over the last 2 years. I've flown 120 flights since the beginning of last year. Never had TSA pre-check. Always looked at the people going down that line being like, I fucking need to do that one day. Every single time I'd say, I need to do that. I just don't have the time. I'm not coming to the airport. I'm not going online. I'm not going to these places. I found a place inside of Staples that happened to be near my house. It was inside of Staples. I went in it was a makeshift office. This lady's just sitting inside of Staples in aisle 13. It was insane. And I'm like, can I just get TSA pre-check? She's like, yup. And I went in there. She fingerprinted everything, which now I'm in the system now, boys. You want to talk about being in the system? Everything. All 5 of my fingers are now printed into whatever government system they have. And I'm in. I just got the email. I'm attaching it to my flight.
What was the gap? How long did it take to
3
get
days.
approved? Wow.
I am putting it onto my Delta app as we speak, and tomorrow I will not be taking my shoes off. And that is something I might get to the airport at 4:00 in the morning just to say that I'm just I just breeze right through this thing.
I cannot believe you guys don't have
I have clear.
I have clear too.
Clear.
So now I'm just now the next thing I think I need is global entry.
You're like 007 when you have both. Both is great. There's a special line for people with clear and TSA pre, and it's like you're flying private.
The thing that set me over the edge is we missed our flight the other day going out to Scottsdale, and the regular line took an hour to get through security, and the TSA pre-check line, there was 0 people on it, and I was staring at it being like, I cannot believe at 6:00 in the morning I am not getting to my destination when I have an hour and 20 minutes before my flight, and everyone that just walked to my right is actually in the lounge. That's how quick they got through. Not only are they making their flight, they're in the lounge. They're eating hard-boiled eggs and salad.
I've got a big travel news as well. This is my first time that Barstool Sports has booked me in first class.
Whoa!
Wow!
Yeah.
Moved up in the world.
Finally, a little respect on my name. Let's
put
go.
A little respect on my name.
Yeah, playing in a professional golf tournament.
I think that's probably what it is. Is we're doing this whole big event, but. You know what? Thank you to whoever made that decision. I appreciate it.
Also, you're flying a lot more now that you're just going to start getting upgraded like all of us do. I mean, I'm so
I've been upgraded a few times, but this was just nope. They bought me seat 1D, which is pretty great.
That's fantastic.
How about I used 150,000 of my Delta miles in the last couple weeks for flights, and I still have over 500,000 in my account.
150,000 is insane. I actually just watched that Up in the Air movie again. It was just on TNT the other day.
George Clooney, great.
Oh, and now the fact that we travel so much. So when I first saw it, it came out in 2009, I think. When I first saw it, obviously I was probably in high school. So I was like, all right, I don't really understand this guy flying around, all the little quirks he had and all of his he hated the way that she rolled the bag and what she brought on her carry-on. And now that I am such an avid traveler, we travel 3 times a week. We're at airports. I was like, it was hitting me almost like they say, because Office Space is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I never really worked in a cubicle office, so I can't truly grasp how funny it is because I didn't get to experience that stuff. I now can grasp how amazing Up in the Air is. Like, he's obsessed with his miles. He's obsessed with getting all that stuff. Like, he's been dreaming about that extra card being handed to him from the pilot. I loved it. I absolutely love it. It's a great movie.
Dude, my system at this point is to a T. Like, if I'm in one of the first rows in the first class, I know, like, in the tunnel walking in, I begin to take my iPad out because I know I have to put my backpack up top because there's no spot underneath for storage. So I grab it out at the exact same moment. I zip my backpack back up at the right time, right when I make the right into the aisle, put it up top, sit. I put the iPad behind one of the magazines in the tiny little compartment in front so that they don't tell me I can't have it. And you just like instantly are in your routine. I mean, I do a counter. I count every flight. I mean, we took over 90 flights each year, the last 2 years. And this year, I think I'm already at 53 or 54, and it's fucking July 23rd. And we're traveling less this year. So when you just fly that much, you're right. You just learn. I can't believe you didn't have TSA pre. That's
dude, I looked today. I've flown 41 times on Delta alone.
How do you find that? It's in the Sky
So
Miles
we fly
part?
everything. Yeah, you're like MQMs or whatever.
I have 32
flights on Delta. And so we've also flown American, United, JetBlue, like whenever there's...
It's also July.
Right. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot of flying.
Yeah, you just get used to it. I also had the shout out to the Bowlero, Barstool Bowlero Bowl that we're doing this week, or I think until July 26th it is, so people can go sign up. I think it's, I don't know, is it bowlero.com/barstool, I think might be the link, but
that's right.
We had a hell of an experience bowling. I forgot how much fun bowling is. Frankie took down the crown. It took 4 games. We had to go 4 games. Frankie's clearly the best bowler, but I got red hot one game. I posted a 149. And then Frankie, the last game, came in with like a 189 or something.
Yeah, 189. Yeah, I was feeling it.
That's a good game.
I will say I couldn't even text the next day. My forearm was so sore. When you don't bowl for like 2 years, and then you bowl, you have pains in your body that you couldn't even imagine having.
Yeah,
like
I guess it requires like wrist strength.
Wrist, your forearm, your hip, because you're like putting a lot of pressure and weight on a random left hip as you throw the ball. The back of my calf. I mean, I felt like I went through a war, but I really just flew 5 hours to go bowl at Bowlero. But yeah, Bowlero was an incredible experience. Shout out to everyone that came there. Make sure you go to bowlero.com/barstool and join at any Bowlero. I think we had like a Bowlero thing in East Meadow here on Long Island this week. My sister texted me. She's like, "Are you doing a tournament at the Bowlero in East Meadow?" I'm like, I think so. I don't know. I think I think at every Bowlero you can go join this thing. So make sure you go to the website. It was a really fun. Bowling's great. Bowling's great. The food there is awesome. Like, it's just like, you know that you're going to get like your chicken wings and your nachos and your big pretzel and your big sodas. And they have like the big pictures of beer. Bowling and movies are just 2 places that I get really excited to go to.
Yeah, it's the Barstool Bowlero Invitational, and you go to bowlero.com/barstool. It says here, sign up below to claim your voucher for a free game of bowling with the purchase of a game at any Bowlero location nationwide through July 23rd, all courtesy of Barstool. So yeah, go join in there. It's very, very fun. Bowling's a great time. We all like to compete. That's why we do a golf podcast, basically. And bowling's just another great way to do it. So, and then
I get to compete tomorrow. Can't wait.
Yeah, you're going to dominate, Dan. And then the last thing I've got is anybody see any of the 2 movies this weekend?
No, I'm waiting until after Chicago. I already booked my ticket for not this Friday, next Friday. So in 2
I saw
Fridays,
Mission Impossible,
I will see
but none of those. I saw Mission Impossible, which was just the most like down the middle blockbuster of all time. It was like
Oppenheimer's going to blow me away. I know it, and I heard Mission Impossible is good. It's a true movie. I mean, Tom Cruise is like they say he's like the last great actor that we have.
I mean, between Top Gun and this, he's done a lot to bring back movies.
Have you seen the behind the scenes of Mission Impossible where he learned how to like drift those cars through?
He like does his own stunts, right?
It's incredible. You should
He's
watch.
61 years old.
Watch behind the scenes of Mission Impossible. It's nuts. Is that the one where he drove his motorcycle off the cliff and just like,
that was sick,
parachuted down? Was there a scene?
I don't know if that's in the movie, but I don't know what movie.
I don't think that was this one.
I remember
There's been 7
last year. That's insane. he is like they were. Movie stars, like who remains that if
Leo.
this person is in that movie, you go see it regardless of anything else. You don't know the plot, you don't care about the plot. It's like if Tom Cruise is in a movie, I think at this point you're like, I'm gonna go see that Tom Cruise movie. I think Leo is at that. Like if Leo's in a movie, you're like, okay, Leo's doing a movie. I think
Brad Pitt.
No, I don't think he's in that.
I think Brad Pitt. I think Brad Pitt and Matt Damon are both at that level.
Okay,
Matt
I know
Damon,
they were.
really.
Yeah,
I know they were. I don't know if they still are, but they might
Matt
be.
Damon, like The Martian, now Air.
Yeah.
Like, any movie that Matt Damon's like showing up in, you're like, all right.
I think that's right.
It's like him and Ben Affleck just wrote a really, really good like biopic of like a whatever historical biopic of a sports movie. And like, I'm going to go see that. And Adam Sandler, I think, is also one. He comes out with a lot of like misses, but his dramas, like an Adam Sandler sports drama, is a must see.
Did you watch the one that was on Netflix with Willie Hernan Gomez's brother?
Yeah. Yes.
It was really good.
It was like Hustle,
really, really good.
Like that.
Yeah, Hustle. Yeah, where he's the basketball coach. So good. So good. I feel like it went under the radar.
Incredible.
Yeah. I really, really liked that movie.
Oppenheimer's going to blow me away. I know it is. I've read all the reviews. People just fucking love it. The only one who didn't like it, I think, was Stephen Che. I didn't even watch his video because I don't have time for like negativity surrounding that movie until I see it. I don't want to see negative reviews until I've seen the movie. That's just kind of how I go. I'll watch his review after seeing it and I'll see if I agree with it. But I only like to read the good ones just to hype me up. That's just something about me with movies is like I only want to read the hype pieces. I don't want to read like what not to look for or like what to hate.
Totally.
Like I want to be able I feel like a hype piece is not going to take anything away from my experience. I'm not going to be like, it's just going to make me more excited.
It's also it's like that when you go to a restaurant. Like if you hear somebody bitches about the food's actually not that great there. You're like, actually, I'm going there for dinner. I fucking told you I'm going there for dinner. So fuck you.
I'll talk about it after.
Right. Let me be excited. Like I'm excited right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got. Major championship season's over. Next big thing is really the Ryder Cup. We got 2 months till the Ryder Cup. There'll be a lot of hype leading into that. And then we've got this week, we're focused on the Korn Ferry Tour, baby. We're going to highlight these stories. We're going to be out there. We're doing a broadcast 3 hours a day for 4 days. Very excited. We're going to be all over that fucking property. NV5 Invitational presented by Old National Bank, Barstool.tv. And then we'll be back Thursday. We're going to have a new podcast that we're going to do in person, I believe, in Chicago. So, yeah, look for all that information, all the clips that we'll be putting out. Congratulations to Brian Harman. That might have gotten lost in that podcast. Congratulations to Brian Harman. And hit it hard.
Hit it hard.